Well, I didn't know whether to call you Mrs. Fairfax or not, because I suppose once you get into a role, you become that person for a while at least. Has that ever happened to you, where you've gotten momentarily confused?
Yes, I do. I do tend to. I remember playing a sort of spinster lady who dressed in tweed skirts and jumpers and brogue shoes and thick stockings, and I found myself wandering like that for a time, dressing like it off stage. And then I was in a modern comedy where I had my nails painted and my hair bleached blonde, and I was forever in and out of the hairdresser and having my nails done. So yes, it does affect you.
Tell me a little bit about your years at the Royal Court. That must have been a fantastic time for you.
Well, it was an extraordinary time. It was a theatre that was to promote new writers, more than actors, though the actors there, who included Peter O'Toole and Albert Finney, and and the writers, Tom Stoppard, John Osborne, Harold Pinter, was an extraordinary group of people. And we were all there to promote new drama. We had come from outside London, quite a lot of us. It was the time of the Beatles in Liverpool, sort of coming in from the regions to London and trying to change the face of theatre, which is what, people say we did afterwards. But like 15 years later, they would say that was the time at the Royal Court that changed the face of British theatre.
And of course with Tony Richardson, both on stage and in the film version of The Entertainer.
Yes.
Nice to have a film and theatrical component, really, to so many of your work then.
Yes, that is wonderful. It's never quite the same. Of course, the mediums are different, but it does make a record that we are grateful for.
In the remaining time we have, let's talk about a book called Jane Eyre, which we all know about, but I'm wondering how many of us have actually read it. Any recollections of your first time?
Oh, yes, I read it first when I was 12. I've read it again when I was 16 for English Lit. I mean, it cast a spell over me. It's always kind of been around at the back of my mind, the knowledge of a great love story, Jane Eyre and Rochester. I think of it in the same breath as Romeo and Juliet, though it's an older person. I mean, they are older when they finally get together.
Would it work on the stage? Have you ever been involved with a stage production of this?
No, I haven't. I would love to have been. I would love to have played Jane Eyre when I was a young actress. It wasn't around then, and nobody ever quite did it. I think you do need, which this film has so sort of breathtakingly, that landscape, to set it in. Of course, there are wonderful duologues between Jane and Rochester. It's her independent spirit, her always speaking the truth, however blunt and brusque, that is funny. When he says, "Do you find me handsome, Miss Eyre?" And she says, "No, sir." Women weren't supposed to behave like that in those days. They were supposed to be submissive and keep their place. So she's a lovely, refreshing character.
But at the same time, we need your warmth in that house, don't we?
Oh, you desperately need somebody to bring in a bit of cheer, a bit of humanitarian instincts, and a bit of comfort and care. I mean, she's Mrs. Fairfax obviously has a great affection for Jane and is perfectly willing to show it.
Do you hope, as do I at least, that it's a marvelous film and we hope many people go, but maybe also as a result, do we also hope this will send people to the book as well?
Yes, I do hope it will send people back to the book and to a great many others in classical literature, which could enrich their lives quite enormously.
Charlotte Bronte said in a letter once that truth has a severe charm of its own. That sort of sums up the book, the novel, the movie, Jane.
That is a wonderful statement, yes. I have another favourite line, which is what Jane Eyre says to Rochester about painting, and which is to do also with the way this film is shot, but also to do with everybody's life, and that is the shadows are as important as the light.
And I think as actors and film watchers, we're all shadow boxers, aren't we?
Yes.
In a way. Joan Plowright, such a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
We, of course, are talking about Jane Eyre. I'm John Tibbetts for KCTV5 in New York City.